Back in September, media day, Jaylen Brown talking to Mark D'Amico saying that there's going to be moments during the season where bench guys are going to have their opportunity. No disrespect, no shade, but teams like the Detroit Pistons and the Washington Wizards, those are teams that we're going to let Sam Hauser and Payton Pritchard take care of the ball more. Tonight, Jason Tatum, after a 5-day absence, sits out tonight. Jaylen Brown takes 12 shot attempts. Payton Pritchard comes in, drops 27 and 10. Celtics are rocking and rolling, playing through Payton Pritchard tonight. He is tonight's player spotlight. Player spotlight presented by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a phenomenal ticketing app. Phenomenal ticketing app that they color code the tickets for you, fellas. So you go on a website, you want to know if you're getting a good deal, a great deal, or a meh deal, or even a terrible deal. Well, they categorize that all out for you right there. Green being great deals, yellow being moderate deals, and red being deals you should stay away from. Guys, the holidays are right around the corner. Christmas, New Year's Eve at the Garden, Christmas Day at the Garden against Philly, New Year's Eve at the Garden against Toronto. Definitely want to grab some friends and family, go to a Celtics game. Use code Celtics Weekly at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Again, Celtics. Use code Celtics Weekly for $20 off your first purchase. Payton Pritchard tonight, fellas, 27 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, 50% shooting from the field, 10 of 20, 7 of 15 from distance. Franco, lead tracker. We'll get to that in a minute. Franco, I want to talk to you about Payton Pritchard. This is a gentleman who has taken up a majority of our screen time here. I think he's been on Celtics Talk Weekly more than the actual hosts of Celtics Talk Weekly. Payton Pritchard, I feel as if it was just 5 nights ago where Seamus and I had about a half-hour segment debating on if Payton Pritchard can consistently be this type of player. I just want to say this. The clip that was put out there on our social media, whoever's running the clips on social media made me out to be such a downer on Payton Pritchard. I should find out I know who made that. I'm not going to call him out. I'm not happy about the clip posted. Gut views, great for the engagement, but that's not what I'm about here. I'm about the smarts. I'm about the knowledge. That's what I'm about. And I said, Franco, back me up. Payton Pritchard is now. Payton Pritchard is a consistent 20-plus scorer off the bench. He's been consistent for the last 6 games. I understand, the Milwaukee game, cry me a river, cry me an ocean, okay? 27 and 10 tonight. I thought we were watching game 82 out of 82, and Payton Pritchard was just absolutely toying with the Detroit Pistons tonight. He's turned into just this phenomenal, comfortable player. I mean, he's always been a comfortable player, but he's finally getting his opportunity now. Signed the extension last summer, or technically the summer before last. Comes in this year and he's just blowing out the 6th Man of the Year award thus far. I know it is only December, but he is clear cut in the lead. Payton freaking Pritchard. Fellas, Payton Pritchard dominating once again.
We have a ban word on Celtics Talk Weekly. We can't allow anyone to use the R word here ever again, and that R word is regression. We cannot.
Here's the thing. In Seamus's defense, I understand where he was coming from in the sense of, can Payton Pritchard? I just think he worded it wrong, Franco, and that's where it didn't sit pretty with me, and that's why I was like, you can't use the word regression. That's a harsh word to use, man. After one game, that's just not the word, Franco. I don't know why you're saying you sat in total silence. You did not defend me that entire time. You did not.
You're a strong, independent man. You can fight your own battle.
That's not what it looks like in the clip that was posted. It looked like I needed help in that clip. But I mean, Payton Pritchard, this is him now. This is him. This is, and who knows? Maybe this has been Payton Pritchard. He just hasn't gotten the big opportunity like he has now. There's moments in this game, in these games, close, tight games, where he's in the game over a Jrue Holiday. We're seeing that more and more often now.
Yeah, and we are going to see more of that as time goes forward, and we might have some conversations to have around the trade deadline, who's available and who's not. There might be a player in our starting lineup that, if the price is right, Payton Pritchard can step up and fill into the starting position. I know if it's not broke, don't fix it, but that's my thing. I'm always looking around the league. I'm always looking at other options. There's always ways to improve a team, and Payton Pritchard has proven that he can have those rotation minutes and be able to eat up a amount of production on this team. I think he's done a great job. The thing I wish I had a circling button here is the 10 assists. He really has stepped up as a facilitator for the Boston Celtics. I know we've seen them phase away from that with Jrue Holiday and Derek White, and utilizing Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to fill into the playmaking roles. But as I said at the beginning of the show, it looks like Payton Pritchard is the sunshine of this lineup. And once he gets on the court, everyone just gets the green light, and they'll start making. Once he hits his shot, it feels like everything else just starts rolling for the Celtics. And it's also been the step up on the defensive side, being able to fill in for that, and also having the offensive presence. Just teams have to game plan for him now. That's something that the fact that teams have to put Payton Pritchard on their whiteboard alongside in front of the names, alongside and not in front of, but the names of Jrue Holiday, Derek White, and Kristaps Porzingis. The fact that Payton Pritchard is being even mentioned in those conversations would have been a long shot and would have been laughable if I said that 1 or 2 years ago. And it's just been a huge growth from him, and who knows what happens if these minutes just continue to be consistent, and he's proven that he deserves them.
So I don't want to get sidetracked though, but so with Payton Pritchard though, leading 6-man candidate, like coming off the bench, like Justin was saying, like, putting up 20, 25 points off the bench. So Franco, what was the star power that you were saying, like, he could move into that starting lineup? Like, who would be the guy to, like,
the guy.
We're gonna save it for the trade deadline.
You can't drop that statement, Franco.
Fine. Yeah, you gotta tell us now. You kind of just like you
have to say it.
All right,
you can't.
Looking at the ages on this team.
Okay, hold on. Wins us a championship. Had his best game of the year, scoring wise, the last 2 nights. I mean, played terrific against Milwaukee, played phenomenal against Memphis. I understand shooting 5 of 17 from distance is not ideal. He was doing his job. I mean, the year prior, he was shooting 60% from that corner. Hey, listen, he might be a 35% 3-point shooter from the corner this year. I'm giving a 60%, just previously a 60% 3-point shooter from that corner. I'm giving him those shots every day. Take those shots, Jrue. Yeah. Absolutely. And then tonight has his best all-around game. Quite honestly, could have made the argument he was player spotlight tonight. 12, 8, and 6, his better all-around game all season.
If Payton Pritchard had not had this game tonight, you could have said Jrue Holiday easily.
And now you're telling me that Jrue Holiday? You're telling me that Jrue Holiday is going to get? You think that Jrue Holiday is going to get traded from this team, or should get traded?
I don't.
And then I'm sick of. I think when somebody like Jrue or Derek White is out, I understand how Payton Pritchard can start. And maybe he should start, first of all. let's, if you want him to win Sixth Man of the Year so bad as selfish fans, I can raise my hand. I want him to win Sixth Man of the Year. Don't start him in games. Don't start him in games. That's why Emmanuel quickly didn't win it when Malcolm Brogdon won it 2 years ago. The same reason why Bobby Portis didn't win it a couple years ago. Obviously Malcolm Brogdon, not discrediting him at all because he had a terrific year with us, but also, with Quickly and Portis both starting on their respective teams quite a bit, that definitely hurt them in that race. So Payton Pritchard, that's why even shorthanded, you don't see Pritchard in that starting lineup. I'm sure they probably throw J.D. Davison before they throw in Payton Pritchard in that starting lineup. Second of all, Franco, what are we doing, dude? What are we doing? What are we doing? 25 games in, and you're talking like that. That is a Seamus move, man. That is a Seamus move.
You made me say it. I didn't want to go further into detail. I was talking in future tense, and I was saying that when the conversation.
That is a very, and I'm going to say this, right? I'm going to say this to you. I'm not afraid to say this to you, radio boy. That is a very Felger and Maz type move right there. That's a very Felger and Maz type move. Just instantly, even after a couple good games, just straight up call out Jrue Holiday randomly.
It's not even a call out. He's still one of the better players on this roster.
We're talking about Payton Pritchard here, and you're saying how, and now all of a sudden you're saying like, oh yeah, like, it's not like when Holiday retires in a couple of years. No, we're talking like 3 months from now when the trade deadline rolls around, we're sending Jrue Holiday out. I don't think you should be talking like that, Frank.
No, I'm not talking like that. And obviously, this team has that chemistry, and I wouldn't want to do anything in the world to ruin it. There are things, if we're looking at any options on the table, and Payton Pritchard continues to play at the level he has, honestly, the award is great, Sixth Man of the Year, but if he's playing at a level of production where we're capping him off, we shouldn't be limiting Payton Pritchard, is my final statement.
I don't think we're limiting him at all. I think we're giving him his opportunity. You're seeing him play
his role to the most he can.
You're seeing him get big fourth quarter minutes. And I just mentioned, to your point, on Jrue Holiday, he is playing over Jrue Holiday at moments in that fourth quarter. But to go on and say, man, around the trade deadline, who knows? Payton Pritchard gets bumped up to the starting lineup and Jrue gets dished out of Boston. I don't think it's absolutely horrendously impossible, but I think I raise an eyebrow at that statement, Frank.
I raise an eyebrow at myself every time I look in the mirror. It's just putting it out there. He is going to get his opportunity at some point, and I just think he's a time is now type of player. And I obviously know Jrue Holiday can adapt around him. He can be on the court at the same time as Jrue Holiday. They're not really they're level with each other in that sense. You can play them interchangeably, and that's a huge testament to the Celtics' depth, and it's a huge luxury to have a player like Payton Pritchard on the roster. And Jesus, Payton's started a few arguments in his player spotlights in recent past. He's causing some good problems here in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, he continues to excel at his role, and his role is only getting bigger on this team. And I think, and we go back to talking about the whole shot attempts from Jaylen Brown tonight. Obviously, 3 other players had more shot attempts than him on a night where Jason Tatum doesn't play. I think that just, again, shows how deep that this team really is, even on nights where they are missing their depth. It's incredibly important, and you have guys like Payton Pritchard who can consistently step up on an every night basis. Maybe throughout this last stretch of 5 of 6 games, scoring over 20 points. maybe this is just who Payton Pritchard is now. And I think that's a conversation that we should start having, or maybe a conversation that maybe we shouldn't have at all. We should just, I don't know if this is just the expectation from Payton Pritchard now, that this is just a guy off the bench who can get you a little bit more than his average. And I do think, again, that's a question that Seamus did propose. I thought the way he proposed it was preposterous. But at the same time, I do believe, I wasn't a part of that show when he asked that. I do believe he is above his average, which is about 16.2, between like 16.2 and 16 and a half points per game. I do think Payton Pritchard is above that now. And I do think a stretch of 6 games, guys, is a long stretch. I get he had a 0 point game. I get he had a off night in there, but that is a consistently good stretch off this bench. That's, again, as I mentioned, already deep. Right? If you're putting up 20 plus per game as a third string guard or second string guard behind guards like Jrue Holiday, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown, oh, good luck the rest of the league. I mean, this is a guy who he's out. It's like he got dissed by 29 other teams last year when they didn't, but like as if he was a free agent. He didn't get the money from anyone. He was like, I'll settle for Boston. And I mean, he's just playing out of his freaking mind right now. And I do think that this is going to continue. And this is a thing that we can consistently see from Payton Pritchard. Even on his bad nights, Payton Pritchard is always doing something. We mentioned his size, 6'1", 6'2", not the tallest guy out there. He makes up for it. He picks up 94 feet. It's not like this guy is a cone on defense. He's pestering defenders. He's grabbing. He's one of the better rebounding guards in the association. If you guys remember, if you guys remember, there was this game specifically, I forget, it might have been last year against the Denver Nuggets. Payton Pritchard got like 2 or 3 offensive rebounds in a row, one of them stealing it from beyond DeAndre Jordan from behind, grabbing it and laying it up. That's kind of where Payton Pritchard got that identity of a kind of like a junkyard dog, right? So this is just who he is right now, guys. And I think this is who Payton Pritchard is going to continue to be throughout the course of this 82-game season. Now, obviously only game 25, so we'd like to see him continue to do this. And we'd like to see him do this in the playoffs when it matters most. So that we'll just have to wait around and see.